So before we move into this system of relationship psychology, I would like to make three terms very clear because it will be like a foundational knowledge to the entire psychology that we will be discussing in the further lectures. So these three terms are the truth, ignorance, and wisdom. What do these three things mean, and what does it have to do with relationship psychology, relationship improvement, relationship management? So let us see all these things one by one. Let's begin with what is the truth. So, like, you will find these three things mostly in spiritual books. Okay, I have read a lot of spiritual material in my past life because I wanted to improve my personal development, and that was a long story that I will not talk about right now. But basically, these three concepts you will find in spiritual books or in spiritual lessons. And so, I would like to simplify it and turn it around in a perspective that will serve us, that will make us resourceful, that will provide us abundance of ability and empowerment to solve our marital problems or to maximize them, to take it to the next level so that we attain, we feel extremely satisfied and fulfilled with our relationships. So don't go and judge this theories very technically because these have been twisted a little bit so that it can serve us for our marital relationship problems. Okay, so let's break down the first one, which is the truth. What is the truth? Well, the truth is that people respond to perceptions and not the reality. Okay, think about it. People respond to perception and not the reality. In reality, there is no thing, or like everything is labelless. I would like to give you the example of what I call the God's perspective. Okay, you might see around yourself many things. Like in front of me right now, I have water bottles, books, some notes, a few chairs. So, what are these? These are the labels that I have given to certain things. I have been taught that this is a bottle. Okay, I have been taught that that is a chair. That thing right there is called a chair. But what if I remove these labels? Like the chair is of black color, that is one label. It is of plastic, that is another label. It is chair, that is a third label. And well, it is of a shape like L or something, that is a fourth label. What will happen if I remove all these labels? Well, you will think that there doesn't exist anything. Try it out for yourself. Take a book in your hand, or maybe see a tree in your mind. In your mind's eye, visualize a tree. Now remove the label that it is green, it is tall, short, it is slim, or it is very old tree, or it is very full-fledged, or whatever it is. Remove all the labels, and then you will see that there is nothing we have in our mind to identify that object as any identity. So basically, what I am trying to say is that the truth is nothing holds any identity. It is only our perspective that we are using to interact with the world. That is why we respond to the world with our perspective and not the reality. This is the truth. Okay, this is the truth. And what does this have to do with relationships? Well, if you are habitual of labeling people, of judging people, of categorizing people, now first of all you have to understand that this is not we do what we do intentionally. This is how our mind works. So there is nothing bad in it. It is only to make our minds aware of all the truth that the world has to offer us, so that it becomes easier for us to accept new people, to accept the way they are, to not judge them, to not criticize them, and to really have a good, harmonious, and fulfilling relationship with our partner. So, if you frequently judge people, if you are bound to give labels or character certifications to people, then you are only responding to your perspective and not the reality. Okay, so for example, imagine your husband or wife and remove all the labels that you have given to them, all the identities that you have given to them. For example, remove their name, remove all the judgments you have about their physical appearance, like their color, their hair color, their body shape, their height, their weight, everything, all the labels and identities and the stickers that you have stuck on them, just remove them. Also remove the labels like male or female gender labels, okay, cultural labels, nationality labels. Human human being itself is a label that you have given to something, so remove that as well. Now what does exist? There is nothing that exists in the world, okay. It is only your identities, your meaning that you give to a certain set of objects. So we human beings are meaning making machines. We are meaning making machines. So when you judge your husband, it is false, it's a facade. When you prepare a certain kind of image about your husband or your wife or your mother, father, or your children, you are actually creating a false system of information in your mind that is the root cause of all the problems in your in your marital life. So that means that after years of evolution, our mind has been programmed to interact with the world by assigning certain perspectives and identities to the object. It will be very vague. It will be impossible for us to communicate with other humans beings if we are not assigning any labels to anything. Okay, it will just be impossible for us to communicate, and that is why we are constantly applying labels and judgments to different things around us, to the environment around us. And what this has does is, this programming of our mind has created a lens for us. This lens is called perception, and we see the world through this lens. And the very important thing is that this lens is very individualistic. Okay, very, very individualistic. It cannot be replicated, it cannot be duplicated. Like it it's one of a kind. Your perception is one of a kind, my perception is one of a kind. What we can do is, at the max, is understand each other's perspective. And even though we try to understand each other's perspective, our perspective of taking their perspective will also be different. So so it leaves me with a conclusion that everything around us is a manipulation. Everything around us, around me, is the way that I would like to see it. It is all about my perception. So, if you have marital problems in your life, or if you think that your relationship is not very satisfying, it is your perception. It is not the truth. Okay. So, what is the truth? Well, the truth is simply the truth. Like, if there is something, it is how it is. You cannot change it. You have to accept it the way it is. This is the truth. Any labels, any identities that you give to someone or anything around you, it's a facade. So many of the problems in your life will solve the moment that you realize that nothing is right and nothing is wrong. Everything is about you being okay with it or not. You cannot comment on a tiger's act of killing a deer to be right or wrong. You just have to be okay with it, because that is the truth. You cannot comment an eagle to be evil because it kills other birds. That's just your perspective. The truth remains the same. So, similarly, you cannot judge someone as being a good person or being a bad person. See, assigning this label of good and bad is itself your perspective, and it is false. It is not the truth. So many of your problems will solve the moment you realize that it is never about right or wrong. It is always about you being okay with the thing that is in front of you.